things are the stages of grief. You are probably familiar with them. You've got denial, where you're like, it's not happening. Anger, where you're like, I'm so mad it's happening. Bargaining, where you're like, I wish it were cheaper. Depression, where you're so sad about it. And acceptance, where you will never, ever be. I wish that we dealt with grief better and talked about it more, but we don't. And that's silly because everybody is going to die, right? 100%. Maybe not Sarah, but the rest of you, for sure. Like, look around. This is a room full of pre-dead people. Me too.
Pre-dead people. That's quite a way to think about life. That's a clip from the Audible original one-man show titled Sorry for Your Loss, written by and starring comedian Michael Cruz Kayne. In it, he uses humor to talk candidly about struggles to cope with loss and grief following the death of his newborn son more than a decade ago. And Michael joins us now. Michael, it's so great to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
We should tell our viewers you are a writer for Stephen Colbert.
Yes.
So welcome back to work.
Thank you so much. A joy and privilege to be back.
Threw you right into the speaker, the Trump stuff,
exactly.
All of it.
The news apparently just keeps going.
Yeah.
As you two probably know.
Yeah. Well, you're back. So I want to talk about your story. And before we get into the show and all the ways that you're helping people talk about grief, including people like us who want to be there for people but don't quite know how to do it in words. If you don't mind, just tell us a little bit the story of Fisher and Truman, your twin sons.
Yeah, so my wife got pregnant with twin boys, and the pregnancy was very rocky, to keep it brief. And they were born, and we thought that they were going to be healthy after all these trials that we'd been through during the pregnancy. And at 34 days old, all of a sudden, Fisher got incredibly sick and had something called a volvulus, and then got sepsis and died pretty much immediately after that happened.
And your son Truman is now almost 14.
Yeah, his twin brother will be 14 in a couple weeks. Happy birthday, bud.
And how is Truman doing? What's that been like for him, this entire experience?
We talk about it as a family. Truman's my son, and Willa is my daughter, and Carrie is my wife. And we talk about it all the time. I mean, not all the time, but whenever we think about it, we try not to make it a taboo subject in our house. So sometimes out of the blue, one of our kids will have a question about Fisher or about death, and we try to just talk candidly about it with them. Obviously, there's like a kid version of it, but we do our best to make it something that can exist because grief is just a part of life.
So on the 10th anniversary of the death of Fisher, I guess 2019, you just started writing about it on Twitter, and it became this Twitter thread that just exploded because so many people could relate to it or wanted to sympathize with you. And that's what led to the one-man show and now the Audible version of it as well. Why did you want to go out publicly in that way to talk about this?
Well, it had just been something that I hadn't hardly talked about at all for 10 years. And for some reason, I woke up on the anniversary of his death, and it felt like I had to talk about it. And I was doing stand-up, and I was writing comedy, and it just felt like everything felt so inconsequential to me. Like the thing that I was thinking about was that I had a son who died that nobody knew about. So I wrote something on Twitter, which I didn't really expect anyone to read. I'm not super popular on Twitter. And it sort of caught on, and there were thousands and thousands of responses and interactions with this tweet that that justified this suspicion that I had that a lot of people felt this way. And it was people just like sharing the most like brutally horrific stories, and they just wanted someone to know that this had happened.
So Michael, obviously that triggered such a response from people that are saying things to you, expressing condolences or what it may be. But talk to us a little bit about, because I know your show's about this, the importance of people listening to someone who's grieving.
Yeah, I think there's a tendency that is really nice to try to fix someone's grief, to ask a question and then kind of jump in with, well, I have a story also about grief. Like, oh, your son died? Well, I have a cat that was really sick, and that's kind of, does that make you feel better?
Right?
Yes, that's a story.
Yeah.
So I think the best thing you can do is try and be real with someone, like tell them how it really makes you feel, ask questions, and really like listen to the answers, and don't hope that in one conversation, you are going to heal someone from the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
It's a hard thing from the other side of it, isn't it? Because you do want to, you have great intentions and you do want to help the person in some way. You say, sorry for your loss, which is the title of the piece, which seems sort of pro forma almost, like the thing you say. And then there's, how are you doing? Well, I'm doing terribly. My child died.
Right.
So what help someone else through this? Is it just being there? Is it just listening?
I think you just have to accept that the conversation is going to be awful. Like, it's going to be really hard, and you're going to not know what to say, and you're going to fumble through things, and you do your best to take the temperature of the person who is in the epicenter of whatever terrible thing has happened and try and meet them at their level. I've definitely had conversations with people where I tell them, or they ask me about it, and then they are, in this moment, a billion times sadder than I am. And it is a weird thing that happens where I am now comforting the other person to be like, hey, are you okay about this terrible thing that happened to me and my family? So you do want to avoid maybe over empathizing with it.
So you're a comedian, obviously, who in this show grapples with an incredibly sad subject. We saw a little taste of it in that clip of how you do it. When you sat down to try to be funny in some way about this incredibly dark, sad topic, how did you start?
I think that the way that I thought of it was not, I'm going to try and be funny about this, but like, I'm just going to talk about it, and I am incredibly funny. So it'll be funny. You know what I mean? Which I guess is more to say, like, I didn't want to deliberately make it somber. I wasn't like, this is a sad subject, let me be as sad as I can possibly be and let the people who listen to this be destroyed by it. It was more just like, let me talk about this in the way that I know how to. The death of my son is not funny to me, right? It's like, it's a bomb that went off in my life and the life of my family. But existing is hilarious. So like, just talking about it in the way that I think about it, I knew that that would make people laugh.
Yeah, and it does. And you've given so many people entry in a way to talk about this stuff, and so many people who've gone through what you're going through relate to it. And you can see it if you haven't already. Sorry for Your Loss, available on Audible. It is excellent. Michael Cruz Kayne, thanks so much for being here. It's great to meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.